Give me something to hold on, something I can feel. Let me crash to the floor, at least I'll know that it's real. Rock bottom is scary if you've never been before. 'Cause it's easy to lose yourself on the way down. Let me get to the part where I hit solid ground. If I know where I am, then I can start to heal. Give me something I can feel.
A visual description of what Kruti and Richa are wearing is Kruti is wearing a pink top and black pants. Richa is wearing a green shirt underneath a gray sweatshirt and jeans. Kruti and Richa are sitting on a gray couch with pillows to their sides. Hi, welcome to Breaking Barriers with KR.
Or RK. It's going to be an ongoing battle. Welcome back, everybody.
We did talk about how we are going to be talking about very specific topics. So today we are going to be talking about stigma, and specifically stigma that Kruti has faced with her hearing loss and her journey with disability.
Yep.
And so let's get started. Now, my first question for you, Kruti, is were you open about your hearing loss?
I was not open about my hearing loss, and I'll tell you a little bit of background with this. I was born in the 1980s, and I was in India. I was 3 years old when I was diagnosed with hearing loss. It came as a shock to my parents because both of my parents are fully hearing. And so when I was diagnosed with mild to moderate hearing loss, at that point, the education system was not inclusive, not accessible. Not only that, the society had compartmentalized disability and non-disabled people, so like fully abled people. And so whenever there was a connection with disability, it would always be viewed as somebody who is abnormal, who is imperfect, who is not worthy of good education, good job, or even finding a good life partner. So I was living in that time frame where there was so much stigma with disability that I didn't feel comfortable being open about it.
So did you have a hearing aid when you were in India?
So that's very interesting as well. So my parents actually consulted a top-most ENT surgeon in India at the time in Mumbai. And the ENT recommended that because my hearing loss is mild to moderate, that I focus more on lip reading but not wear hearing aids, because the visibility of hearing aids could put me to a lot of bullying and isolation at school, and that I will be viewed as somebody who's weak and not capable, not competitive, not strong enough academically as well. So because of which ENT suggested not wear hearing aids. However, when I was 16 years old and my family moved to Canada, that was the first time I got hearing aids and my life changed after that.
Oh, wow. So did you still face stigma when you came to Canada?
So Canada was slightly more open about disability, especially there are more accessible services. However, some of my views were already shaped as a 16-year-old teenager coming from India. I was still competing against or with other people academically going into pharmacy school. I felt that there were not a lot of people who were disabled, or there was lack of representation. But now that I know stats, 1 in 4 people are disabled. That's a lot of people. So if you're basically hanging out in a group of 10 people, then 2.5 of those are disabled. Right, 2.5. But just a stat. However, out of all the disabilities, 4% of disabilities are visible, but 96% are not. So, and when we talk about disability, here's the thing. Not a lot of people realize that even chronic conditions such as diabetes, heart condition, cancer, mental illness, ADHD, all of these and physical disabilities all fall in the same umbrella term of disability. So there was lack of representation, which is why I felt that I was uncomfortable sharing.
And you probably were surrounded with other people who had a disability. It's just...
Good point. Yeah,
it's not so safe space.
Exactly, safe space, and especially in the competitive world, I feel like in medicine, in engineering, in law. My husband's an attorney, and I feel that people don't talk about it. these sensitive topics because they're worried that they're going to be viewed as incompetent. They're going to be viewed as somebody who will not be able to bring more value to the table. But that's actually not true.
Yes, you wrote this really powerful piece in Newsweek that I really loved, and we will share in a link.
Yeah.
But I think that's really interesting because you do kind of talk about the stigma that we may face even in the States professionally.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say that it was a constant struggle when I was working in an environment where so many people professionally are very capable. And as soon as I'm viewed as somebody who is hard of hearing, there are misconceptions that kind of come up as to would she be able to talk to nurse okay? As a pharmacist, I'm a hospital pharmacist, I'm constantly engaging in conversations with physicians, with nurses. And so people are then worried and they're making their own assumption. Oh, hearing loss, which means that she may not be able to hear what the patient is saying or what the physician is saying. And then automatically I'm put in a box of somebody who they're not sure would be valuable to the company.
Well, thank you for sharing, Kruti, and thank you for being vulnerable and taking the time to talk about the stigma that you faced throughout your journey. And
Thank you for listening. I appreciate it.
And thank you for making a safe space. And hopefully we can continue this safe space outside of just this conversation that we're having, maybe within your homes, at work, wherever may need be. And we will be continuing stigmas that I faced in the next episode.
Yeah, we'll be interviewing Richa on her journey. Thank you for staying with us, and we'll see you next time.
Right.
Bye.
Bye, y'all. Thanks.
Thank you to Mandy Harvey for giving us permission to use her song Something I Can Feel in our intro.